What's up? What's up? What's up, my Mind Your Money business folks? It's me yet again with another video on today's stock market news. And as always, you have to be in the market and not try to time the market because that is simply impossible to do. I forgot what I was going to say. But here nor there, let's get into the news. It says NASDAQ pops, leads Dow and S&P 500 higher amid Vietnam trade deal. I was thinking about going to Vietnam. Weak jobs data. So let's see what happened today. Hopefully you guys are having a blessed day. It says U.S. stocks moved higher on Wednesday as optimism over U.S. trade deals rose at the same time that more signs of an intensifying labor market slowdown bolstered the case for the Federal Reserve to start cutting rates. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose around 0.1%. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 rose around 0.3%, keeping a potential new record high in sight. The NASDAQ Composite moved about 0.7%, with Apple stock rising after an upgrade from Jefferies analysts, and Tesla shares climbing after the EV maker produced more vehicles globally than expected in the second quarter, even as sales plummeted. Yeah. So the benchmark S&P 500 and NASDAQ moved to session highs after President Trump announced a trade deal with Vietnam, lifting investor hopes that more, and I emphasize more, agreements will come before July 9th tariff pause deadlines. So meanwhile, the labor market showed more signs of a cool down in June. ADP data showed U.S. private employers unexpectedly cut 33,000 jobs, and in the month, badly missing the expectations of around 98,000 jobs added. The two don't go together. So it was the first time of job losses in the private sector in over 2 years. So the data lays the ground for the release of the June U.S. jobs report on Thursday. So that's tomorrow. Seen as a key factor for the Fed as investors bet an interest rate cut could land sooner rather than later. Hopefully sooner. According to the CME data, the majority of Fed watchers still do not expect the central bank to cut rates in July. But almost all are betting on at least one rate cut by September, with over 20% now pricing in 2 cuts by that meeting. So Trump's one big, beautiful bill, that bill that was passed yesterday, is also in focus as it heads to the House after clearing the Senate, thanks to Vice President J.D. Vance's tie-breaking vote. Isn't that interesting? Insurance stocks fell across the board Wednesday as the bill would slash federal health spending on Medicaid. Ouch. But split Republican factions threatened to delay a potential final vote as Trump pushes to sign it by July 4th. So yeah. So all eyes are on ahead for July 4th. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. It says here the June report on jobs, right, is expected to show the hiring slowed while unemployment rate moved higher. The data release will come as investors closely watch for further signs of the slowing U.S. labor market and growing debate over when the Federal Reserve will cut rates. So hopefully they will. So the Bureau of Labor Statistics data is slated to be released on tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the news. So let's get into the stocks, shall we? Get into the stocks. There were gains today. I saw a lot of green. A lot of green. Green. Green, 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 green. Money, money. Either way, NVIDIA gained majority of its losses back. $3.95, closing out at $157.25. Microsoft lost 96 cents, closing out at $491.09. Tesla gained $14.94, closing out at $315.65. My S&P 500 ETF SPLG gained 33 cents today, closing out at $72.98. Broadcom gained $5.16 today, closing out at $269.90. My information technology ETF FTEC gained $2.45 today. That's huge. Closing out at $197.74. Palantir gained $1.44 today, closing out at $132.12. Apple gained $4.62 today, closing out at $212.44. Amazon lost 54 cents today, closing out at $219.92. And that's pretty much it, people. Short and sweet. Again, hopefully you're in the market and not trying to time the market. And if you're in debt, you're getting out of debt. Get out of all forms of debt: personal loan debt, car loan debt, student loan debt, credit card debt. Get out of debt, because as long as you're in debt, you're unable to invest into yourself, your family, or into the stock market, right? Because you are a slave to the lender. Whomever you owe money to, you have to pay them back. If you don't pay them back, it affects you. Your car gets repoed, your house gets foreclosed on, your credit gets jacked up to where it inhibits you from, purchasing things later on down the road. So get out of debt. And in order to get out of debt, you have to first create a plan. And that plan is called a budget, right? And within that budget, you start adding up all the money that you bring in each month after taxes. And then you start deducting your debt and your bills, right? So by creating a budget, you start telling your money where to go. Start tackling your budget. Start tackling that credit card, all that debt, right? You can start from smallest to largest, however you see, or highest interest rate to lowest. I suggest you start smallest to the highest amounts of money that you owe, so you can see little small victories along the way. Interest rate doesn't matter. Just keep paying your payments and tackle the smallest to largest, in my opinion. That's what I did to get out of debt. And then once you pay off all your debt, it may take a while, it may take a couple of years, right? But you have a plan, so it doesn't matter. Pay off all your debt. All your debt's paid off, create 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Set that aside for an emergency fund, because emergencies will happen. Hot water heater, cars, kids, hospital visits, so on and so forth. Start investing after you paid off all your debt. Start investing 15% of your income into your 401k or into the stock market, into some type of investment account. You put away money for your kids' college fund. You do all those things, right? And then if you do have a mortgage, all that money that you have been utilizing to pay down your debt, or the money that you did use to pay down your debt, now you have all this free cash, you can start throwing it towards your mortgage. Pretty much a snowball effect, right? And then when you pay off your mortgage in 5 to 7, 10 years, now you have all of your cash in your control. Like, why work so hard for something and you have no control over it? Why are you working so hard and you're barely getting by? You may need to invest in yourself to create your own business, or to learn a new skill, or to just go back to school to get a better paying job, go to a trade school, so on and so forth. But you need money in order to do that. And there's no better way to do it than by financing your endeavors on your own, vice going out to get a loan, right? It can happen. You can do it. It's going to take some work, but it can be done. So I'm going to end this video here. So like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Let me know what you think. If you think people at all. Disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, nor am I pretending to be one. So any and all information on my channel is for entertainment purposes only and simply reflects my opinion. So please consult with a financial advisor before you invest any of your hard-earned money if you're not sure about doing it on your own. All right, so you guys take care. Have a blessed day. Peace.